Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football Weekly, now episode 15, and we partly look ahead to game week 13 of the FPL. Tonight we're in full force, back-to-back weeks, all three of us present, starting with Fletchy. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. There's no prayer beads here, I'm afraid, just really good management. 83 points, 375 in the world. Good evening, everyone.
What a horrible introduction. And over to you, Dooley.
Yeah, I wish my introduction was as upbeat as Kev's. I'm happy to be here as always, but yeah, it's sort of been a week to forget this one. But yeah, I'm happy to be here once again.
Well, go into it, mate. Let's just dive straight in, shall we? So, how did you get on last week?
I think 52 was my total for last week, so I'm looking about 4 or 5 below the average. I think the bulk of my points came from my midfielders. The highlight of that being Salah last week, that I was very reluctant to put the armband on him, and I didn't once again put the armband on him when I probably should have. And last week, those kind of deep-seated roots of not liking specific players or specific teams has come back to haunt me this week a little bit. He is the prime option for a captain, and I didn't pick him. Still scored me 15-16 points out of that, so I can't complain. Across the board, I think for my midfield I had 6s and 7s. Other than that, to shout home about, 2s across the board. Aguero didn't play. Other than 5 points coming off my bench, nice Ward clean sheet. Great deal to shout about this week at all. A lot of high scoring game weeks for people, and I certainly wasn't one of those.
Yeah, I was in a similar boat with we've got 2 of the same strikers. I've got Kane and Kun. You captained Kane, as did I. It obviously flopped on its arse again. And it was a really dreadful start to the game week for me. That was obviously the early kickoff. Yourself as well, Dooley, obviously. And I was thinking, when you captain blanks that early in the week, you are fearing the worst. I have to say, though, the rest of my side just went on to produce the goods, really. I literally got returns, I think, from 9 out of the other 10 players, something like that. So I couldn't grumble. I also had Salah, and you're right, Dooley, he was a standout, or one of the standout captain choices. I've iced him, but I was never going to captain him. My gut told me to go Kane. It's something we're going to discuss in a little bit, because my patience is wearing thin with the guy, I have to be honest. Holding a lot, of value in my side. But I ended on 73 points, which I was delighted with, to be honest. Largely thanks to a big haul from Alonso. My God, he's been due, and finally he came through for me. And then I got the Choupo goal last night, which was a lovely finish, to be honest, to the game week. And I was really impressed with Choupo's performance. I think he's starting to look a really good player up there. Good feet, holds the ball up well, and now basically playing as a central striker. So, yeah, quite happy with him at 5.6 million. And unfortunately scored less than you again, Fletchy. So here you go, mate. It's time to get your Fletchy winner's trumpet out, and away you go.
Well, yeah, before I do, I'd like to obviously pay a little bit of respect to you, actually, because that's a really solid game week, considering, you no Kun and a 1 point captain. 73 points. Yeah, much respect. But swiftly moving on. Yeah, it's another great game week. I hit 83. All my midfielders and strikers produced something. It was my poor transfer, really, which let me down. I took out Koscielny, which actually hurt, because I would have played him if I'd have kept him, but I decided to keep Davis, which obviously cost me. I put in Valencia, and obviously Lindelof slipped and they scored. So apart from that, 83 points. Jesus captain. I said in the week that I was looking to go with him, and it didn't really change for me. Obviously he's played 90, which I didn't expect, but got the goal and got 2 point bonus in the end as well, which I was very, very pleased about. So yeah, another fantastic week for me.
Yeah, that Valencia move seemed to come late in the day, didn't it, for you last week? Because we talk daily basically, and he didn't come up in conversation at any point, and all of a sudden you said, "Yeah, Valencia in at 6.7 mil." I think he's a little steep. I was surprised that you did that. What was you thinking late in the day? Just guaranteed cleanie?
What I was thinking was yes, and also I have a plan for him in 2 weeks. I'm going to ship him for either Aspi or Alonso. So I wanted to just bring him in for the 2 home games, and then after that, I'm going to swap him for either Aspi or Alonso. So I was put off by Bournemouth. I don't know. Should have probably gone with it now, but you never know. Valencia could get a good haul on Saturday, so we'll see.
Sure. Well, let's dive straight into that Kane conversation, and Dooley. So me and you obviously directly affected, as we mentioned. I watched the game. I don't know if you did. I thought he just looked off the pace, didn't he? He came off after 75 minutes. It just capped it off, to be honest. A really poor day at the office, I thought. He had a couple of openings, didn't he, where normally you see him just unleash, and he sort of scuffed it out for a goal kick. And he never looked like he was going to produce anything. He just looked like maybe he had an off day. But that big knee brace, I don't know what you thought, Dooley, but I wasn't impressed with the performance at all. And then obviously he blanked. So what are your thoughts currently on him? Are you trusting him?
Yeah.
In the future?
It's just one of those typical Kane performances. Why I haven't had him in my side until a couple of weeks ago. Fletch doesn't still have him in his side. He didn't look great at all, and it's so frustrating as a Kane owner to watch him do absolutely nothing, and because you know for a fact that in a week's time he's going to bag 2, 3, possibly 4. He is like that, but he has these weeks where he literally does absolutely nothing, and he might as well not be on the pitch. I can't, having seen that game, there's not a thing that I can take away from that and think, yeah, I was happy with Kane's performance. This is what's to look forward to going forward to the next game. Enjoy watching Kane at all that game. Obviously, there's a nice fixture, but obviously with the amount of blanks that Kane's had this season, it's a definite worry. I'm not considering taking him out, obviously. But it is a huge headache to have when you've got such, high amount of funds wrapped up in one player and they're not producing.
I mean, the rest of my team got me out of jail. Unfortunately, you had some blanks elsewhere as well. Obviously, we both had Kun, which blanked. But just to complete on the Kane thing, for me, I've seen him blank at home against Swansea, at home against Bournemouth. But he looks devilish in them blanks. I.e., he's hitting woodworks or he's testing the keeper 4 times in the game, And, that's not an exaggeration. This game just looks so off the pace. But I thought Spurs just looked poor. I was looking Davis at left back. I just thought he looked terrible. Every touch just looked off the pace. Didn't look like a good day at all for Spurs. Did you think, Fletch? Do you think it was just a generally bad Spurs performance rather than specifically a bad Kane one? Obviously, with this good run of fixtures, you would have been looking at Kane. Where's your head at now regarding it?
My thoughts were when I saw that strap in, I thought, Christ, wasn't expecting to see that. Obviously, there was a lot of captains around. I thought first half he looked quite lively. He had that chance, didn't he? First 20 minutes where he cut inside, decent save. But I think it was more Spurs, just no service. He looked very isolated up there. I thought Ali was shocking. Ball wasn't getting to Eriksen, so there was no creativity whatsoever. And obviously Dortmund away coming up. Big game for them. If they win that, probably going to top the group. So off on 75, I was surprised at that as well. So my thoughts on him now are...
I'll just give you the fixtures, shall I? They got West Brom at home. They got Leicester away, Watford away, Stoke at home. In terms of a run of 4 games, you wouldn't handpick much of a different set of 4, would you?
That's good 4, but against the lesser sides, they've sort of struggled at home, haven't they? It's a tough one. My thoughts are it depends what Jesus is doing midweek. If he's starting, then Kane could be in for me.
Really? In spite of that performance, but you'd bring him in purely because of that run of fixtures and what he historically can do? It's
more the fact that I think there's a Jesus headache coming, possibly. If he starts midweek, don't see him starting Sunday. And then, if I'm going in without Kane, could be in a lot of bother. So it depends what Jesus is doing, because Jesus is going to be my captain if he doesn't play, which I'm comfortable with. Okay, and then you can get Kane in using 2 transfers, can you, by moving some money around? I'd have to sacrifice Firmino, basically, which I'm comfortable with because I've got Salah in there. So we would be a cheaper striker.
I'm surprised you're doing that, or not doing it. You've not said you are, but if the Jesus, headache arises, I'm surprised you're considering that, because the way you've been managing, you've actually been doing extremely well at times when you've not got Kane. Is it partly because so many have got him and you think he's maybe due and you want to block that a little bit? Is it a bit of that?
Yeah, I think he's going to burn me. West Brom going with no manager is not good. If Pulis were there, I think they could have reacted after the 4-0, but yeah, I'd feel more comfortable with Kane in there, but I just think with this Pep rotation, hopefully Jesus won't start. If he plays 20, then he's fine. He's my captain for Sunday because I fancy him at Huddersfield. So more than likely, Kane won't be coming in for me. Possibly, I might even still be looking at Lukaku. Possibly, because if Kane plays 90 tonight, it could put me off as well.
Yeah, just let's talk about that Jesus thing a bit, because the way I see it, I don't know if you agree with me, Dooley, but I see he won't play midweek. He'll play away at Huddersfield. Then I think your headache begins, doesn't it, with the 2 home games, because he's constantly getting these away games. Aguero is constantly starting the home games, basically. That's generally what they've been doing over the season. And, realistically, it's maybe then after that. So that means probably you might not have Kane then for this week, but maybe you will after. Do you think it would be? Do you see it similar to that, Dooley? Because you own Aguero, so it's like a mirror. I've got a mirror headache to kind of Fletchy's nice situation with Jesus. You're in a similar boat. I'm thinking Aguero is not playing this weekend, but I'd love to hold him for the 2 home games following it, which is a really tough situation to be in.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier on in the season about to rotate Aguero out more. I said it didn't seem like a good idea at the time. It seemed like a wasted transfer every week or every other week just to get Aguero out and then get him back in. But actually now it seems like a good idea. Obviously if you got Aguero away fixture, no thank you. At the moment, it's literally roll of dice, and let's see how many minutes your Man City cover is going to play. I've got no idea. I've got Aguero in, and normally, Aguero has been pretty much their only striker up until this season. So he's pretty much always been nailed on to start. Now this season he's got competition. It's scary, and having that much money sunk into a player that isn't starting or is getting minimal minutes. I like the idea of Jesus now instead of Aguero, to be quite honest.
Wow.
I wouldn't make that move. Obviously now Aguero's here, he's staying for me, but she's sitting there with a Jesus at the moment.
I think for me, basically, if Kane doesn't come in this week, he doesn't come in for me, because I'm happy to captain Morata against Newcastle and against Swansea at home. So I'm willing to go without Kane because I think I've got a real strong captain choice for those at least next 2 games after.
What, and you'll just take the fact, I don't know, you might not agree with me, but then you take the fact that Aguero may well start them home games, and then you're taking Jesus points off the bench if they come.
Yeah. I think he's a real threat off the bench, and I think he can start at least one of those home games. If he keeps scoring, then it's going to be hard to drop.
You know what would be fantastic for you if you was ever going to consider that? Maybe you probably wouldn't. If you took Jesus out after the Huddersfield game and brought Kun in to then see Kun home games, because I think he's a phenomenal differential shout for those 2 home games, assuming he stays fit and it plays out the way I think it may well do with him playing tonight, not playing Sunday, and then 2 home games, Sunday and then Wednesday. I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about. And obviously in my mind, I'm thinking, am I going to take it on the chin and hold him again this week if he's not playing any minutes? I mean, it hurt last week. 0 minutes for someone that's 11.8 mil. I don't think you could do it.
What I would say is, before I captained Jesus against Arsenal, did he not get rested midweek? Which is why I went captain. I think he did. So you predicting Aguero's not going to start Sunday? I'm not so sure. I just think it's still a lottery at this point, because I'm pretty sure that Jesus came on against Napoli. Reason I went captain against Arsenal, thought he would start. He didn't. Obviously, came undone the business. So it's still very hard to predict what's going to happen.
Sure, I guess we'll know more after tonight, after the Champions League game. Obviously, it is tough. And I see what you're saying, Dooley, about that whole, taking on the tactic to rotate Aguero in, rotate him out, because he's so explosive. He rivals Kane for explosivity, and as a result, when he's on form and he's on his day and he's starting games, you want him in your side. Unfortunately for me and you, Dooley, we've not had him in. He's not been getting the minutes to actually be explosive in any way, and I feel like we've been really unfortunate. I feel like Aguero's been a bit of a saga for me really in the last 2 weeks. I obviously had Morata. I brought in Kane, and it's just looked like a really poor move basically over the last 2 weeks. And actually, had I stuck with Morata, I'd be in an incredible position right now, I think, to be honest, with the way I've been rising, because the last 2 weeks, the captain's the only thing let me down. So yeah, it's a real headache, and one that I'm probably going to take into this game week again with me. Very, very tough. Let's change the subject to Morata's team. So Chelsea. Unbelievable performance at the weekend. West Brom looked disgustingly bad, but Chelsea just put them to the sword, didn't they? And just dealt with them and produced a really, really good performance. Morata, Hazard, they look like they're really combining well up there. Dooley, what Chelsea assets do you have at the moment? And what's your thoughts for the weeks, coming up? Because I'll chuck a run of fixtures at you very quickly. They've got 8 games. Swansea at home, Newcastle at home, West Ham away, Huddersfield away, Southampton at home, Everton away, Brighton at home, Stoke at home, and that's all following Liverpool this game week. So not necessarily jumping on this week, but following Liverpool, that run of fixtures just look unbelievably awesome for a side in form. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it looks good if you've got Chelsea assets in your team at the moment. Unfortunately, I have 0 Chelsea assets.
Whee! Get back Oko in, mate.
Yeah, well, these defensive midfielders have been doing all right for me, haven't they? So, yeah, it's so frustrating. A wild card. I had Fabregas in there for I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. Absolutely nothing. I think he pinged the bar a couple of times while he was in my team. A week after my wild card, and look what happens. He's tearing the place up. But that's Fabregas on his day, isn't it? He can rank up the points, but to go into some really good fixtures without a Chelsea player, I'm currently trying to figure out how I would get a Morata in. It's not an easy one for me to be able to do.
Surely just Aguero downgrade.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'd be. It'd be a Kane out for Morata, depending on how Morata goes in the next couple of fixtures. I think he's quickly becoming a must-have.
Yeah, Fletch, you're a Chelsea fan. Let's have some inside knowledge here, because I want to chat. You just mentioned Fabregas, and he's someone that's on my mind at the moment. We'll talk about Hazard and Morata again in a minute if you want. But Fabregas, 6.9 mil, banged in 2 assists, didn't he, at the weekend? Last season, he was playing a lot of games at home, but not away. I checked his minutes before we jumped on online, and he's missed one fixture. The rest of them are 90s, basically. Conte's just using him constantly. Do you think that's as a result of Kante getting injured, or do you think Conte's going to trust him home and away? And is he someone that you could look at?
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, he's changed formation, hasn't he? He's basically dropped Pedro, and he's playing Bakayoko, Kante and Fabregas. He's playing Hazard, basically a free role, linking with Morata, and I don't see it changing, playing so well. Yeah, I think Fabregas is a fantastic shout at the price.
Well, what changes when Kante's back?
What do you mean? Kane is back.
Oh, he's fully fit, fully back.
Yeah, he started the United game. He started.
How?
Yeah.
I completely missed that. Did he really?
Yeah. He's been back. Wow. So he's playing Bakayoko.
Small man.
He's playing Bakayoko, Kante, Fabregas, and it's basically Hazard's playing free role basically up top with Morata, just all over the place, and it's working really nice because it's giving Fabregas the freedom now because he ain't got
to get forward.
Yeah, and
Wow.
So I don't see that changing. So yeah, he's a great option. I actually think Bakayoko is a great option.
You're joking.
No, I do.
You can't hit a barn door.
No, I think for these home games coming up at $5 million for maybe a fifth mid, I honestly think he's a great option. He had a really good. He had a couple of chances on Saturday. He had a couple of chances against United. Eventually, yeah, I think there's some points for him. I really do.
Blimey, I didn't see that one coming. I was joking when I said Bakayoko. Well, I need to do my Chelsea homework. I had no idea that he was back, which adds fuel to the Fabregas fire potentially. I mean, Hazard, look, he's top scorer when 18 points he got this game week.
Yeah.
You could. Do you reckon there's a potential that you would ever look to double up? I know you've already got Morata, but would you look at getting Hazard as well, or do you think it's just one or the other for you?
Yeah, my midfield's completely set. There's no way of me getting him in. It's tough, isn't it? He's a big price, 10.5. Is he 10.5? 10.6 maybe?
10.6,
yeah. I personally can't do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at this Fabregas route, because I've got Alonso. I also would look to get Morata. I'm in an identical situation to you, Dooley, and it's probably a Kun downgrade to Morata. But I just think Fabregas is a really good option. I think a lot of people will be looking at a Chelsea treble up. Dooley, chuck another name at you, Christensen. Played again, didn't he? Would he be someone that you're looking at 5.4 for a route in there? Do you trust that he's going to get the starts now?
To be at the price, if you can guarantee that he's going to play, he's an absolute must. Of course, he's not going to provide you with much attacking assets, but clean sheets, with those fixtures, they look really good. Chelsea cover, then absolutely is the go-to man at the moment. But like I said, that's if you can guarantee that he's getting the minutes. Obviously Fletch can probably speak in length a bit more than I can about the Chelsea backline, but I do fear that he is going to get dropped at some point, and that's the worry. And I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people aren't jumping on Christensen at the moment.
Or is Fletcher's Conte the man that's just going to leave Christensen in while he's doing the business and not rock the boat, or do you think he's just going to bring Luiz back in at some point?
Quite hard to predict. Obviously, we're playing carrier bag or whatever they're called. This is 6-7 hour flight there, 6-7 hour flight back. Playing Wednesday and Saturday.
Sure.
So FPL wise, maybe won't play tomorrow, then play at Anfield. I still think there might be a little bit of rotation with those midweek games coming up next week as well. Then Newcastle at home, but at the price, he's still worthy. But for me personally, like I said earlier, I'm looking for an Aspi or an Alonso for that Swansea home game next Wednesday, and I'll be taking out Valencia.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game. I've not seen the highlights, probably hence why I didn't know Kante played. But what did Alonso look like, Fletch? Did he look good?
Yeah, he looked good. He scored from a free kick, basically back post. But yeah, he looked quite high. I wouldn't say he's on the form of last season, but yeah, I could definitely be looking for those runner fixtures. I think there's definitely an Alonso wave coming. I think you basically said it last week that the tide has to turn, and that 15 points, it looks like it has.
Yeah, it sort of bailed me out of jail, that, with the Kane flops as captain. That was a big differential. I think I'm basically the only one in the league currently with Alonso. I don't think that will be the case over the next 2-3 weeks. I think a lot of people will now start jumping on him. But another good performance, and we'll talk about your club now then, Dooley. So Man United 4-1 win, and to be honest, what stole the headlines was Pogba's return, Ibra's return, Rojo back in the squad. Let's have your summary. And Pogba now looking a real option at 8 million. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking at before before he actually got injured, I was actually looking at Pogba move. A lot of people will be jumping on him this week, largely due to the fact is where's Fletch gone? Is he getting?
You're right there, Fletchy. Sounds like you're moving house.
Oh.
You're right there, mate.
Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Yeah, Fletch back. Yeah, so the Pogba thing. Yeah, I would like to have Pogba in my team. That's the move that I am looking at this week. I think if you're looking at United assets, I think Pogba has to be one of the top ones you're looking at. It's sketchy for me for the Lukaku one. I know a lot of people have got him. I know a lot of people got rid of him as well. When for Aguero, I think it was a couple of weeks back. In points, dropped in value as a result of that. But yeah, I'm looking at a potential Pogba in this week. He may have already hit a price rise this week. I'm not sure.
No, he's not. It's fixed, mate. It's fixed for 7 days. I saw this because he's just come off of that injury. They then fix it for the first 7 days. So because I wondered why he was on 0% on FPL stats. And I looked into it a little further, and that's why. So he's not going to be open for rising or falling until this weekend. So yeah, you're guaranteed to bring him in at 8 mil this week if you want to, right up until the deadline.
Yeah, and it's a great fixture as well for him. Is Pogba going to produce every single week? Probably not. But from the games that he's played so far this season and the points return he's got, he's doing all right. And at the price, I think he's all right. It's a lot cheaper than some people that aren't actually doing it. With Eriksen not doing it, De Bruyne stopped doing it for whatever reason. Want some United cover, then Pogba's a lovely option to have in there.
Well, he's a lot cheaper as well than De Bruyne, so I see your point on that one. I just noted down that he started 5 games this season. He's got attacking returns in 4 of them. 2 of them are double-figure hauls. We spoke about this earlier in the week, Fletch. You said, you're a bit worried about his deep position. Am I not concerned about that? And yeah, he does start in a deep position, but with this Matic in the side, he's also getting forward a lot. And I did watch the highlights of this game, and the assist. Where he's chipped it over to the back stick, he's really high at points as well. When I saw him back, I was like, it's the answer to my prayers, because I've been thinking of ways that I can get Lukaku in, and now I feel like, yes, he's given me a route now into the United attacking avenues, and they look an attacking side when you got Pogba in there. They score goals when Pogba's there, and their fixtures are looking all right as well. So I'm looking seriously at Pogba also this week myself. But Fletchy, you absolutely said to me he wouldn't be one for you. You still figure the same?
Yeah, we mentioned it last week about players that you just don't like or wouldn't have in your side, and unfortunately he's one. I slayed him at the start of the season. He's come back to haunt me, to be honest, and he'll probably carry on doing it. But yeah, I thought he was fairly deep on Saturday. I know he got forward well for his goal, didn't he? Decent run, nice assist from Rashford, but. Was he 8-1 now? Is he 8?
No, 8.
Yeah, it's quite a nice price, but I honestly think Fabregas can probably match him over the next 6, 7, 8 games. You're talking a mil cheaper. I think Fabregas could be the route instead of Pogba, but yeah, could be a nice move for you both. Definitely.
Talk to us about the Ibra situation now then, because obviously he came on, didn't he? Did he get 20 minutes or something like that at the end?
I did say to you that I thought they could play together, and I got slated for it. And yeah, he kept Lukaku on, which I wasn't that surprised about. Because
can you see him starting games together?
At home, yes. Yeah, I can. I said it last week. Away from home, no, I don't. I see Ibra on benches, and I see him maybe coming on. Possibly together, but yeah, I think at home they can do. But for Lukaku, yeah, probably wouldn't be looking. He's either got to come in this week for me, or he's not coming in at all. I don't think. Obviously, we'll probably own him at some point during the season, I would think again. But right now, I just think there's too many better options.
Yeah, fair enough. He's not looking explosive, is he? He's still he's got a few chances. Could easily have got a brace against Newcastle, but you know, finally got back on the score sheet against us. But right, one more headache then that me and you share, Dooley, is Phil Jones.
You share a lot of headaches, don't you?
I think we share too many, don't we, mate? To be honest, but it's another one that we need to work out. I mean, I suppose it depends what other issues you've got in your side, but I'll pose that to you. Rojo's back now. You know, how long would you persist with a niggly injury from Jones now with this fixture pile-up that we're now about to get? Because he's not going to play every game, is he?
Jones hasn't flown to...
Jones is out for the next 2 games. So it's been confirmed this afternoon. Yeah, it's been described as a quote proper injury.
Got to go.
The game, and he's almost certainly out of the game at the weekend. So it is a headache.
I did not want to hear that at all.
I think it's literally half an hour old news, 45-minute old news. It's that's for sure.
Blimey. I was kind of half hoping that he was going to be back at the weekend. You know, Brighton at home. It's a lovely, lovely fixture to own a United defender. That hurts, to be honest, to have that confirmed that he's out. Well, in that case then, Dooley, is he one that you will hold because you've got value in him and he's relatively cheap? Is he someone you hold, or is he now very firmly on your hit list to go then?
I think it just depends how long he's out for. If he's only out for the one game, or Premier League game on the weekend, then I'll keep him. The worry is that highly, and I think he'll start to get more minutes over Jones towards the end of the season. That is my worry, that Jose will just say, right, ban now.
Alongside
who? It depends. If he's out for one, Smalling, I guess.
Yeah, see, that's who he's rivaling, isn't it? Because he was playing with Bailly. But now Rojo's in. I think he trusts Rojo more than Smalling, doesn't he? I think Rojo is going to threaten Jones a little bit. I could see Bailly, Rojo, potentially. That's what's worrying me. I don't know. You know, you're the United fan. You probably know better than me. But I was really hoping I could hold Jones. That now maybe makes me think I've got to ship him if he's out. Oh, what a headache! Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that Man United defence at the moment is a bit of a landmine. So unless you've got Jones, unless you've got Valencia set up like young Fletch over there, then yeah, it is a bit of a nightmare with that Man United defence.
Well, here's a headache you have, Dooley, which I don't have. Me and Fletchy both own Mr. Richarlison, who's just looking relentless at the price. You've got Decore. Have you got? You know, it sounds like you got a lot of a to-do list, to be honest, on your team. So he's probably not high on your agenda, but he is looking the real deal, isn't he? At the price.
The thing is, Richarlison is a couple of weeks ago. I was saying that he was more expensive than Decore, points more than Decore, and then this week he's popped up with another goal. He is a good option, but isn't he one of the most owned midfielders in the game now?
He's only on 18% ownership. Checked it before we came on.
That's still huge for a Watford midfielder. That is humongous stat. 18% of the game own a Watford midfielder.
And I'm glad I'm part of that 18% at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy to have Decore for a long period of time, but now Decore is one that I'm looking to get rid of this week, and he would be my way into Pogba. That's why I get rid of Decore. But I'm not looking at Richarlison. I think he looks great. Just one of those that isn't for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fletch, got a couple of tricky games now coming up for Richarlison. I'm not going to lie. The only reason I've looked at potentially shipping him, not this week, because he got Newcastle away, and I fancy him there. But after that, I'm potentially shipping him because there's so many midfield options. And I know you're in this boat a little bit, Fletch. You're so happy with your midfield. Let's suppose you did want to move to Fabregas. Who would you bring him in for? Because everybody's performing in your side at the moment, aren't they? Apart from Tom Carroll, but you've got him in there as a budget, haven't you?
Well, he'll be going this week. Yeah, I'm looking at shipping Richarlison, possibly. I agree. Keep him for one more week. Be a nice little wave. And then I'm actually looking at Hughes for Watford at 4.6. I was very, very impressed on Sunday. Goal assist, thought he was very, very high. If he keeps his place, which I'm sure he will, for nearly £2 million cheaper, I think he's very, very worthy. Hughes.
So you'd then be in a situation where you would be playing Hughes every week, would you?
Yeah.
In that setup.
Yeah. At 4-6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. If you bring Will Hughes in, he starts doing it for you. I think I'll delete the game, to be honest.
Did you not? I take it you didn't see the game on Sunday.
No, I watched it all, of course. I had Richarlison involved. Yeah, I watched it. No, I thought Hughes performed very, very well. I did. But no, bringing him in and starting him every week. No, I'd be against that one, to be honest. Rotating him with someone, fair enough, but no, potentially starting for you every week, and then obviously Tom Carroll remain in your budget. Sounds like a stinky move to me.
Well, no, Carroll's coming out this week.
So what, Richarlison in for Carroll?
No. Carroll out, Loftus-Cheek in.
Carroll out, Loftus-Cheek. So you'd have Loftus-Cheek. So you'd be potentially rotating Loftus-Cheek and Hughes.
Gross. Because
you wouldn't rotate Gross play him every week, right?
Gross fixtures really changes now. So I'm looking to rotate him.
So one of them free benched.
Yeah, I would think so. Or obviously it's going to free up more money, so I could upgrade my defence even more, possibly.
Fair enough. In a rotation then. Sorry, I thought you were saying keep Carroll, and that would give you Hughes. Therefore, Hughes basically becomes your fourth mid.
No, Carroll's gone. Obviously, he's lost his place now. With these midweek games coming up, you need strong benches. So Loftus-Cheek at the price, he's looking to steal. My only concern about Loftus-Cheek, I'd like to get your opinion on it actually, is I think Benteke will come back into the side. So who gets dropped? My opinion would be either Townsend or possibly MacArthur, even though he scored.
I think Townsend gets dropped there. Loftus-Cheek's been playing great, isn't he? Yeah, I mean the England game. I thought Loftus-Cheek was one of the best. Wasn't best.
Yeah, he was. But if
he's been playing really well.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Tomo?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Dooley. I think Loftus-Cheek gets the start. I tell you, because Loftus-Cheek is a bit more versatile in there, isn't he? So obviously, if you got Zaha and Benteke, Zaha's going to be up high. It's almost a front two. Loftus-Cheek then gives you that cover occasionally. You don't need to drop in. I think if you're playing Townsend also, I think it could leave him a little bit exposed. And we know how Hodgson likes to, keep it a little bit more stable. So I'd say it's a good move bringing in Loftus-Cheek. I think a lot of people. I mean, he was in my first draft. Obviously, I outed him on my wild card, but I reckon a lot of people now would have kept faith with Loftus-Cheek, and it looks like it's one that's working out, doesn't it, for people? Got an assist. Yeah, at 4-5 for that fifth mid option. Yeah, he's looking really, really good. You've got defensive issues though, haven't you? I'm amazed you're not still looking to sort that out, because when I looked at your side coming on, I thought, you know what, it's a top side. Everybody's producing for you, but your defence looks frail, to be honest, in comparison. But you seem to have got away with that. And when I say frail, not because they're not quality players, but you got the headache issue of Trippier and Davis maybe not playing every week. Yoshida potentially getting rotated out there with Hoy. I'm surprised you're not making one or two moves there, because I think if you did that, your team's looking good from top to bottom. Yeah, I'm keeping Trippier and Davis this week. I'm not shipping at home to West Brom because I believe. Not sure, but I'm pretty confident that if one doesn't, then hopefully they won't come on. Because obviously, if say Davis starts tonight and he doesn't start the weekend, I don't see him coming on. So that would mean Yoshida first sub for me. And based on him not playing against Liverpool, you got to think he's going to start against Everton, because the way it's been rotated, you got to think Yoshida's going to play, I would think. So I'm just happy to let it go this week, I think, defensively. But I understand what you're saying, but I'm not taking out Davis or Trippier at home to West Brom, and I'll be playing them both. Fair dues. You're top of the league, so who am I to argue? Dooley, we are talking about all these midfield options, and I talk to people about Dream Team all week, basically, and a lot of people are considering making this move to a 3-5-2. I've been playing 3-4-3 basically all season. but this 3-5-2, it is sucking me in big time at the moment, because I'm looking at it thinking, how do I get all these midfielders in? The only way is go into a 5-man midfield, and then therefore means bringing in a budget striker. What's your thoughts on that tactic? Is it something you consider?
Something I definitely consider. I think it may be a case that I've been forced to consider it this week due to the early transfer that I've made on Saturday evening.
Oh yeah, we're all ears.
I brought in the boy Nice, or whatever his name is, the Everton boy. Looks like it will be
wow,
a couple of games.
Wow,
I didn't watch the game myself. It's just a move that I've been looking at for a couple of weeks, and I like the idea of bringing him in this week, which would for Abraham, which would allow me to free up some funds to upgrade, like I said, Doucouré to Pogba.
I take it you didn't know about the dive then when you brought him in?
No, well, I heard about the dive, but there's no way I thought he'd get a ban for that.
That is unfortunate.
It looks like he's got the ban now. Obviously, Everton are going to contest the decision. But like I said, it looks like I've been forced to make the move to 5 midfielders now, just to have the two strikers for a couple of weeks, which is not the end of the world. He's not breaking the bank, is he? He's 4.9, isn't he now? I think he went up to 5, didn't he, last night? I know for a fact that the nicey headache that I share alone. I think 130,000 people bought him in already this week.
Yeah.
At least I'm not the only one with that little bit of a headache. But like I said, he's not breaking the bank. 5 mil player that can sit on the bench for a couple of weeks and not give me too many headaches. And like I said, it allows me
to Fletch, get in there, mate.
And go to 5
I'm trying. So who's the 5th mid who's going to be playing over the next 2 games for you?
It would be in there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're potentially looking to upgrade Doucouré, so Sermon becomes your kind of weaker link.
Doucouré, Pogba, Sané, Zaha, Salah.
For a -4.
Yeah, I know it's very stinky to have a -4 and then one of the players not.
If I was playing a 3-5-2, I'd probably want a slightly stronger midfield, but Sermon's producing for you, so.
Dooley, not that I want to load up on your problems, but then one of your front two is Aguero, who is likely to not play at the weekend. So are you eyeing up a -8 then? I assume for Morata.
No, there'll be no -8. I'm not looking at that at all. If he plays, he plays. Look, I'm rolling the dice this week. See what number comes out.
You need a spreadsheet set up right now for your side. Christ, a lot of problems.
The thing is, it's so frustrating. I mean, look where I was, a couple of weeks ago. A very good 77-point week, and then a wild card. I was well happy, and then this week's just gone by, and I've hit below average, and now my team's got headaches. It's so strange, this game. How what a difference a couple of weeks can make for you.
But Dooley, I'll throw this out there. You've got Gomez and Jones in your back line. Gomez didn't play. Jones injured. Nias is suspended. If Aguero doesn't play, you can only field 10. Best case scenario. So you've got to be looking to ship him -8. Got to be.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone to FPL headquarters, see if I'll be able to bring on my keeper as a outfield player at this rate. Yeah, it's not great. 2 weeks into a wild card, I have got headaches. I wouldn't have so many headaches had I not made this early Nice move, but I've made it now. It was a move that I made early. I wanted to get on a price rise. I knew people would get on in, but unfortunately, I had to game retrospective ban now. So, I mean, I'm hoping that he calls in the big boy lawyers and gets off that. But
so you shipped Abraham Bournemouth at home?
Yeah, Abraham's rubbish, to be honest. I don't want him anywhere near my team.
So you've shipped an out-of-form headache for a non-playing headache.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, it looked like a good transfer. But like I said, I'm not the only person who's already made that move. And
would you consider shipping Nias now before the for the deadline, like to a Callum Wilson, for example, which is someone that needs to be discussed also. Hit a hat-trick at the weekend. He's in that bracket, isn't he? He's what, £1 million more expensive? What about that?
No, I won't.
Would you consider that?
No, I say Elvis just staying in there at the price. You know, 5 mil to sit on my bench. I'm not even worried about it. The annoying thing is that, you know, there's headaches elsewhere. You know, there is a potential that I can't field an 11. I'm not gonna be making a move to move Nice out again now.
I think the problem with him now is that if he misses 2 games, is he then going to come straight back into the side? I'm not sure. So if Calvert-Lewin or, you know, someone else produces, they're not going to get dropped. You're then going to have, in the game he comes back, is he going to play? Is he not? It could be another.
I would imagine he plays in Europe, right?
Yeah, which is
so utilised him in Europe now. So
which isn't great for you, is it? If he's playing in Europe.
No, but you know, it keeps him fresh while he's got his two Premier League game bans. So you know,
it's a tough one.
It's a real tough one, and you've obviously hit a 52-point week, which is only a touch below average. To be honest, it could be a lot worse. But this is a week where now you need to respond, don't you? Basically, you did it when you didn't have Kane at home against Liverpool. You responded unbelievably well the following week. I tell you what, you're gonna have to pull something out of the bag, aren't you? Really, because you can't let that rot set in, can you? Get two back-to-back poor game weeks. I tell you what, it's big ask to come back from that. So you got big decisions.
We touched on it last week. And the problem is that likes of the Nice in my team is very structured. You know, a lot of people have the same players, so I'll definitely be struggling for a differential this week. That's for sure. I'll need Sermon to pop up with about 4 or 5 goals to be able to.
Fletcher, you shot off as I was asking Dooley the question, so I'll just pose it to you also. The reason why that came up in conversation is because I've talked about all these midfield options and people basically shifting to a potentially 3-5-2, 4-3-3 rotation. It's something I'm definitely looking at. To be honest, if Nias hadn't got banned, I'd probably have been bringing him in myself as well. I mean, me and Dooley think along similar lines, probably why we're in a similar position in the league. But I now will look at maybe a Callum Wilson. I'm talking about Firmino or Aguero, one of them out, downgrade to a Wilson, and then basically bring Pogba in for Atsu to give me that 3-5-2. Is that something you've taken on before, like a 3-5-2 setup, or are you a 3-4-3 man through and through?
I'm a 3-4-3 man through and through. I did have a look at the guy's top in the world right now. He's playing 3-5-2 and has been playing it for a while.
Has he got Kane?
Yes, he's got Kane and Lukaku up top. I can't remember his midfield, but obviously he's flying at the moment, which is obviously working for him. But no, for me personally, I'll always play 3 strikers if I can. It's not something I'm looking to do personally.
I mean, by bringing in Callum Wilson, there will be weeks where I do play 3-4-3. The idea that I would have is I'd rotate him with a Choupo Moting. So the fixtures rotate okay, and that would be my approach. So I don't know, it's something I'm really, really heavily looking at the moment.
What's your thoughts on Firmino now then? I know we were talking last week about him. Obviously, he got an assist for us, which is nice. Are you looking to keep now? I know the fixtures are quite nice.
I think he's gone for me, mate. I think he's gone for me, but the only way he can stay for me this week is if Aguero plays 90 tonight. So there's no way Aguero's playing at the weekend. Then Aguero has to be the one that goes for me between now and the weekend. So therefore, I would keep Firmino, play him in a 3-5-2 this week, and then I would ship him the following week for probably Morata, and then I would have a 3-5-2 of Kane and Morata. So that's basically what I'm looking at. I think I've not seen enough from Firmino. I just think Salah's gobbling up them points. I think that's a big issue, and I see returns coming for Coutinho. I don't know. I just feel like Firmino's not getting a big enough piece of the pie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Obviously, the third striker option's been a headache for everyone, basically. I've been through a fair share of mine. King was dodgy for me. I just think, you know, I bought him in 3 weeks ago. He's produced twice in 3 games. I think there could be a little wave coming. I'd even fancy him on Saturday against us. I would. Really? And the fixtures after are are still quite kind. So unless I need to raise funds for a Kane or Lukaku, then I think he stays for me long term. So if I don't bring in a Kane this week, I think my front three stays for at least the next 3 or 4 games, and then I'll be relying on Morata big time for captaincy.
Yeah, and to be honest, the form he's in, if he stays fit and healthy, the only thing, obviously Batshuayi's not fit, is he? So Morata's probably playing this Champions League game, isn't he?
That's why he's out. Yes. Yeah.
That's why he's out, which is not great for Morata owners, knowing that he's got to do a job midweek as well. With these fixtures coming up, he's going to get his minutes managed at some point, don't you think, by Conte? Maybe pulled off at 70s?
Yeah, possibly. I just think we're in such a good run. He's only going to pull him off, hopefully, if we're winning 3-0. But saying that, he pulled him off against Watford, didn't he? And look what happened. So, yeah, maybe a little bit worrying, but I'm willing to captain him at home to a Swansea and Newcastle. That's for sure. I think he's
fair play. Listen, I want to just say, I looked at your progression. I know you gave me a little bit of props at the start. I'll give you some props now. What are you, 300 odd in the world?
375, yeah.
Yeah, it's a top position to be in with wildcard intact, all chips intact.
All intact, yeah.
Yeah. You must now be looking at, if you continue this green arrow push, you're looking to have the season of your life, aren't you? Right now. Yeah,
obviously I'm looking to win all mini leagues. That's the first aim, but yeah, it'd be nice to stay around the top 500 area. But obviously it's very, very competitive. I would imagine there's a lot of Kanes within the top 1,000, or maybe not. Who knows? Because I've certainly benefited from not having him in periods this season. And when I've not had him, my captains have produced. Like I've had Salah captain a lot towards the early stages of the season when people were going Kane, which really benefited me. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I said, there's a lot of game weeks coming up. There's a midweek game week, obviously, next week. There's one in December. So there's going to be points thick and fast. So, the league can change very, very quickly. And like you two have seen, your rank shot up. So be very interesting to see where we are in 6, 7, 8 game weeks' time. But yeah, it's one hell of a start for me, that's for sure.
What interests me the most is to see what your position would be if you could take away everybody's wildcard points. If everybody had their team from the start, be in the world at the moment. Above you will have and perhaps have used their wildcard and use their boosts and whatnot. So.
I would imagine there'll be a fair few people that would have used chips as well. Yeah, very hard to predict where I'd be, but the guy who's top is miles clear. I think he's about 90 clear of me. But
that's incredible. I mean, you're going to choke at some point. Just let us know when you're booking it in for, can you? So I can play nice and safe in that period and make sure I close that gap a little bit.
Well,
yeah. I'm waiting. Game week 13 we're talking about, and you're still outscoring us every week. So, it's hats off to you at the moment. The good thing is, Dooley's got a small red arrow this week, but other than that, we've all been hitting green arrows now for a period. But for you to continue hitting green arrows up where you are, yeah, fair play to you, mate. Listen, Fantasy Football Weekly League, you're obviously top of it. You hit a big score, 83, but there was someone that hit a bigger score in there. I've not seen him before. He's not really been on my radar, but the last 2 weeks, he's produced big scores, and his name is Vanch Chabra. Vanch Chabra has hit 91 points, captained Eden Hazard. What a shout.
Lovely.
I mean, top scoring player this week, and he captained him. And I had a little flick back. So I thought, okay, he's come from nowhere, and he's now one position above me. He's now 11th. I'm currently 12th. And I thought, right, I'll have a little look what he did. Last week, he captained Salah. Top scoring player last week. So 2 weeks on the trot, he's captained the top dog. So fair play to him. Might see if I can get his number and tap him up this week. Who should we be captaining? Dooley, you've dropped the 17th, so it's not 16th. So it's not too bad. You was 12th. You've dropped the 16th, so it's only a very, very small red arrow. So, considering you've had so many stinkies in there, you're still in a nice competitive position. And me and you are nip and tuck, basically.
It felt nice being in that 1-0 plus stage for a couple of weeks. But now I've just dropped below a mil now, so it's time to kick on. But looking at my team, I am relatively happy with my team at the moment, but I'm not sure how high I'll be able to climb this week.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to next week, potentially, if you hang on to Kun. I think I've got to ship him. I think Kun's gone for me. And I'll tell you, if you hold on to him, fair play. But I'd be seriously eyeing up that -8 at the moment, I think, and be considering that Morata. But we won't talk about that again. Let's talk about moves and captain then. So I know we've briefly talked about it, but just to conclude then, Dooley, you've already made the one move. And are you set on your captain choice, Kane, then, for the weekend, I assume?
Yeah, 100% backing Kane this week, as I think a lot of people will be. There was a question mark the game week about Tony Pulis's tactics. Comes back after a battering in last weekend, but no Pulis, free for all. If you've got Kane in your team this week, you're almost certainly putting the armband on him.
I agree with you. Kane's captain for me. I've got 2 free, and I mean, it is dependent on these Champions League minutes, but let's suppose it goes as we predict. Aguero plays 90s. Aguero goes for me down to a budget, and that's probably now likely to be Callum Wilson, I would think. And I didn't think that was going to be the case. Niasse was definitely my favourite, but I think Callum Wilson would probably come in, and then that gives me just enough money to upgrade Atsu to Pogba, and then I'd go 3-5-2. That's currently what I'm looking at. Champions League minutes could easily change that, obviously. That's likely that for me. Fletch, just to conclude then, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking at Loftus-Cheek in for Carroll, depending on what Jesus is doing. I think the team news is out in about 20 seconds, so we might be able to bring that live if you want to chat a little bit.
Yeah, fair play. So, I mean, basically, Dooley, what's it going to take between now and the game week deadline for you to pull that -8? Because I tell you what, I'm going to be messaging you non-stop to see if I can pull that little -8 out of you.
There will be no -8. There will be no -8.
Right, I'm going to record that because I reckon you might change your mind between now and the weekend.
No, I think I'm all right keeping Aguero. It is tough Champions League game week, but I will be obviously keeping Aguero. Niasse stays in there, and he'll sit on the bench quite happily. He'll warm that bench up this week, and it's a Pogba show for me this week. Yeah.
What's your aim this year, overall rank wise? Where do you think you can end? You're currently about 1 million, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just about 1,090,000 or something like that. Yeah.
Where do you think you can end? Best case scenario.
The thing is, I have for the first time I have absolutely no idea where I'd be able to finish this year. Two big game weeks for me, and I absolutely shot up. I think I moved up about 500,000 spots in the space of 2 game weeks. So I literally have no idea about where I'd be able to finish at this stage. It looks terrible that you're in the realms of 1 millions and 2 millions and what have you. In the space of a week or 2, you can absolutely fly up leagues.
What would you be happy with?
At the moment, I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy with top 200,000. That's probably my goal from here on in.
I have the City team.
Aguero starting.
Ederson, Walker, Mangala, Otamendi, Danilo, Gundogan, Toure, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Sterling, Aguero. Good news that. Sane, Jesus rested. It's lovely.
Well, it's good news for you. I own Sterling and Aguero, so far from good news for me. I just hope maybe they're not playing 90, but I wasn't thinking Sterling would start. Thinking he would start.
I think De Bruyne surely due a rest at some point in the league. Tough one for De Bruyne owners. Obviously, you'll probably keep him, but he could easily get rested at Huddersfield, possibly. He could even go with Aguero and Kun possibly playing together. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah, the thing is, I thought he might do that to then give Sane a rest.
He's obviously giving him a rest tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, Sane, he just looks nailed on, doesn't he? At the moment, he just looks like he's going to play every week with no Mendy. Absolutely great news again for Fletchy's winners. I tell you what, this -8, I can feel it coming on, Dooley. Aguero starting. You have to be thinking of shipping him.
You sound like you've got a few headaches as well. You know, Aguero, Sterling.
Yeah. You want to hear the Spurs team?
Go on then.
It's good news for Fletchy winners again, actually. Lloris, Aurier, Sanchez, Vertonghen, Rose, Dyer, Winks, Ericsson, Ali, Son, Kane. So no Trippier, no Davis. Lovely.
Yeah, it's good news for you. That's about all it is. Yeah, these gods, I tell you, these beads, I tell you what, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's all going the winner's way this year. That's
well,
sure.
This hopefully Kane gets cropped tonight, and then everyone's got to take him out. That'll be good.
Then -8 will be happening if that happens.
-8, he needs a -12 at this rate, doesn't he?
Free hit for you this weekend.
I'll be on the phone to Doc Brown about a time machine. See if we can go back to Saturday evening and stage that transfer. Yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? But like this, don't we? Well, except for Fletcher at the moment. But yeah, you know, throughout the season, we all have weeks when it's a bit of a headache. So it's just one of those weeks for me, and I'll have to plough through it.
Just for the sorry, just to interrupt. Just for the viewers, please send some questions, because we do love hearing some questions. If you're bored of hearing about, you know, my trumpet coming out and how arrogant I am, I love to hear from people in my mini leagues. What's your plan to catch me? If you're still looking at titles, that is. Obviously, you two, I think, not really focused on me right now, which is fair enough. But there might be.
Yeah, if you want to come and slate me and Thomo, get in the comments and slate me and Thomo. You'll probably slate me more than Thomo these days. But yeah, feel free to comment.
Mate, we take it in turns. They'll be slating me next week. Don't worry about that. That's the way it's been going this season. No wonder Fletch signed up for this podcast, getting me and you idiots on it, to be honest. Because I know time machines won't get you out of it this week, but -8s might do, Dealey.
Good stuff.
Potentially. But listen, follow us on FF Weekly. We've got a Twitter account there. We're on it all the time. That's another way of getting in touch with us, posting questions. Fair point, Fletcher. We want that. We had the interaction a few weeks ago, and we want that back. So let's get some questions going, and let's hear how your seasons are going. Dooley, good luck next week, mate. You need to dig yourself out of a hole. Otherwise, this is going to be a tough podcast for you. Fletchy, then wheels have got to come off. You know, please make it this week. Please,
we'll see.
Give us a chance, boy.
I can't see it with that team news. It's everything I could have wished for, to be honest. I tell you what, a Sane captain's very, very tempting, to be honest. Very, very tempting. So yeah, no Kane for me, definitely.
Fair play. Listen, good luck everybody for game week 13, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Cheers, boys. See ya.